Hey everyone, I'm Maria Cortez, Regional Marketing Director with New York International, and I wanted to talk to you guys about parties. Um, all about parties. So, to start, I think the biggest question most people have is, do I have to throw a party? And the answer is absolutely yes. While we're not a party company, we do highly recommend that you throw a party within your first week to 2 weeks of business, because that is your sign that you're hanging on your front door that you are open for business. You don't realize this, but you do have people who are excited to support you and are genuinely interested in what you're doing. So you're giving them that opportunity to come in and sample your products. I like to call this a mass sampling session. And think of it this way. You can sample all of your friends, but it's going to take you one bottle for each week at a friend's house. So it could take you 5 weeks to get 5 friends sampled, as opposed to having a party and in one night sampling all your friends, all your products. There is zero pressure at these types of parties. We don't push anyone to buy anything. If they like what they're trying, they're going to purchase it. If not, let them go and they can take a sample home with them maybe. But this is the way I explain this to everybody, and I want you to get this mind frame. It is our jobs to give people information. That is all. And then it's up to them to decide what to do with that information. So don't shortchange anyone and don't assume that anyone isn't interested in what you are doing. You will be shocked at who is looking for skincare or wellness products or hair care and who is interested in potentially the business opportunity that you may not have even seen as something that somebody might be looking for. So throw the party, don't overthink it. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips about throwing your party. The first thing are your steps that you need to take. And the very first step is literally opening up your agenda and picking a date. And that's honestly sometimes the hardest thing. My recommendation, my tip for you is to select 2 dates. And I would do it like a Friday night and a Saturday afternoon, back to back. Because first of all, it'll make your life a lot easier. Because you're only gonna have to set up one time and get your house clean one time. And then it's done in that one weekend. You can, by all means, pick 2 different weekends, but you want an overflow date because there are going to be people who are interested in your party but can't make it to the first. And that's going to give you an opportunity to say to them, okay, no worries, I'm actually throwing a second party on this date. Are you available then? So that's a great, you want to have that second date for that overflow for people. So get those on your calendar. The second thing I want you to do is secure an expert. An expert is somebody who has been in this business longer than you, who can talk about the products and kind of take that pressure off of you. We do not want you to feel like you need to know everything about everything. You don't. And if your expert does not live near you, do not stress. We have ways to work around this virtually. So what we do is we Zoom into parties. I know that's going to sound a little odd, but it actually isn't, and it works out really, really nicely. I've done it a ton of times for people. What you're just going to need is an HDMI cord to hook up to your TV. Every TV has an HDMI port. If you're not sure what I'm talking to, ask your husband. But it's what an old school DVD player would have connected to your TV with. Usually it's on the side panel of the TV. And then the HDMI should connect to your laptop. If it doesn't, you may need to buy an adapter. They're not super expensive. If you don't have an adapter, a laptop, you can buy an adapter for your phone. So then all you do is it'll literally be screen sharing your phone. Whatever you do on your phone gets mirrored onto the TV, and you log into Zoom, and I Zoom in, and or your expert, we do the entire party for you. And I'll kind of talk about the flow of the party in a minute. But if an expert comes, then they will do all that for you, and they'll kind of show you the ropes for a little bit. You are not alone in this. We're here to help you through it the first couple of parties that you throw, not just the first party. We will help you with all of your parties. You should actually always have an expert at your parties because it's what we call third-party validation. It's somebody else telling them about their experience with the company and the products, and there's science behind why that works. Then I want you to do an inventory check. This is step 3. Go through and see what you have and what you don't have. If you're missing anything, check with your sponsor or your upline support and see if there's anything that they can bring. But you definitely want eye patches because this is the first thing we're going to put on your customers as they walk through the door. Eye serum is another thing we absolutely want you to have. Face wash is a great product to have by your kitchen sink, along with some towels, some maybe washcloths. So people, you'd be surprised. I think I was really surprised how many people actually wanted to wash their face, but they can leave with night cream like ready for bed. It's just a great concept. They can put on their eye serum, you take their before and after pictures. But I do like to have an entire display of all my products. So if you're missing anything, let your sponsor know. They're just gonna bring them to put out for display. Sometimes it's an empty box, but whatever works, just have some sort of a display of your products out on your kitchen countertop or maybe your kitchen table. Things to have, maybe a checklist. You definitely want to have light snacks. This is not a full course of food. It's not a full display of food. I am talking pick 3 things. What I typically do at a party is like a chip and salsa or a chip and dip. I always do like a cheese and cracker or a fruit bowl, and then I always have a small bowl of like M&Ms or chocolate covered almonds, something for the sweet tooth in the crowd. And then I typically purchase 2 bottles of white and 1 of red. I do that because if nobody drinks the white, that's what I prefer to drink, so it's not a complete waste. But I always make sure, depending on how many people are coming, I do ask them what they like to drink, so I have that, but I only provide wine. I would not do anything crazier than that. And I throw out a pitcher of water. You want some easy throwaway paper plates. I use whatever I have on hand. So if it's plain white, that is what we use. You do not need to spend a ton of money. And I always tell people, if you can purchase it at Target, like a Target grocery, then that's what you want for your party. Nothing more. Do not go crazy. And I'm going to tell you why. People are going to walk into your house and you don't know what their thought process is about this business. They may be walking into your house intrigued by what you're doing because of your posts. And if they look around and they see crock pots of meatballs and homemade spinach dip and fresh made brownies, they're instantly going to think in their head, I can't do this. This looks like a lot of work. So you want it to be effortless and easy and duplicatable for your people who are there. Make sense? Some people like to do raffles. So if you want to get some raffle tickets, you can do that. Or maybe it's just little slips of paper for them to write their name and phone number on. That's a great thing to do. I always do a raffle for people. They get a raffle entry for showing up. They get a raffle ticket for bringing a friend. And they get extra raffle tickets for ordering, and I'll raffle off something that's not a product because I want them purchasing the products. It might be something like a small $10 gift card to Starbucks or Target or something like that. Just an idea. You can do it however you choose to do it. Everybody does it different in the business. And I think you definitely want to make sure you have order forms. If you do, like, you should have some in your business kit, but I would print out more. I like to hand those to people as they're sitting and we're talking through the product so that they can be checking off and looking at pricing of what we have. And it's great for you to pass those out if they don't have them when they're sitting. Pass them out as soon as the presentation's over. And I always say to them, hey, here's an order form so you can check out pricing. If you're interested in ordering, you can just fill it out. If not, just hang on to it or put it back on the table before you leave. So that way, again, there's no pressure. Make sure you have BP application enrollment forms. You can find these all in your back office and then you can print them out just so you know, and they're in the marketing center under business tools. So make sure you have those printed and ready to go. And then I like to put out my brochures as well with the products, and that's pretty much it. So very simple, very easy. Now, what is the flow of the party going to look like? Well, as soon as people walk in, we like the party to move fairly quickly. So that way we honor people that show up on time. And then we make sure if anybody has to leave early, they've seen what they needed to see, right? So usually for me, when a party starts, if it's supposed to start at 6:30, as soon as people start rolling in, after about 5 minutes, I'm like, hey, we'd like to get eye patches on you guys. And as the expert, I do this part. I'm like, hey, if you're interested, these are really awesome. You're going to get results within 20 minutes. If your eyes love these eye patches, and if not, we're also going to put some eye serum on and hopefully you'll see a change in your eyes. And they feel amazing. They're cooling. We'd love for you to try them for 20 minutes. It's a free sample. And usually people are like, all right, cool. Some people are a little weird about it, but for the most part, most people agree to the eye patches. You want to take a before picture in good lighting. So usually you want them facing a window. If it's nighttime, just find consistent lighting, probably in a bathroom. And just take their before picture, do it further away. Here's a good tip, because you can always zoom in and then screenshot the zoom in. If you take it super close, you risk it being blurry. So take it from further away, and then you can put one eye patch on so you can save your products. Some people do 2 on each, but it's totally up to you how you want to do this. Lately for parties, I've just been doing one eye patch, because then when they take it off, they can see a result between the 2. And here's a tip. Do the left eye. And you can just reverse. If you have a right eye patch, you know the end is supposed to be out, just flip it so it's everyone gets it on their left side. The left side of your face, because it's the side that we drive and we get the most sun, is usually a little bit rougher. You can probably see in this video, my left eye is a little bit rougher than my right eye, and sometimes it's also the side you sleep on your pillow that looks a little bit more rough. But in the before picture, there'll just be a better change with the after picture if you choose the left eye. You don't have to do that. It's totally up to you. And then I always make sure I tell people, like, be sure to push it up, because when you chat and because we're eating, it might slide down. And once everybody gets their eye patches on, I, as the expert, will say, okay, everybody, thank you for coming. We really appreciate you being here. If you would like to grab a drink and maybe a plate of some food, we're gonna move into the living room so I can tell you about our products while your eye patches are marinating and doing their job. So I move everybody into the living room. Again, this is nothing you have to do. This is something that the expert will do for you. And what I personally do, everybody does it differently, is they'll do a presentation of sorts talking about the products. I do a share on the TV, and I have before and after pictures. I like to talk through products with before and after pictures. My presentation is like 10 to 15 minutes. Some people will show a video, which is great too. I've done that for parties as well. And sometimes people will just have a conversation and talk. And honestly, sometimes the presentation that I do and your expert will do will depend on your crowd and who's there and how many people are there. And they're gonna read the crowd for you, and they're gonna make that decision for you and what they think the best option is. So after that 20 minutes, we'll close out. As an expert, we'll say, okay, so, you know, we're gonna take your eye patches off. We're gonna give you guys some order forms so you can look over what we've talked about, and you can check out pricing if you're interested in ordering. We would love to help you figure out what will work best for you. I talk about, you know, ordering $150, get some free shipping and all that stuff. And I'm like, but what we would like now is for you guys one at a time to take your eye patches off and meet me at the sink. I'll be at the sink. So I can take your after picture, and if you would like to wash your face and leave with night cream, I can help you walk you through those steps. And this is awesome, because now this gives me an opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with each person in your party. That's something you can also be doing and assisting with, but otherwise I just want you to be a really, really good host and make sure everybody has full drinks, everybody has full bellies, and everybody's having a good time. If anybody has to leave early, bring them to the expert first. Otherwise, just let people one at a time come to the sink, wash their face if they choose to, and leave with night cream on. And that is it. After that, like, the party is pretty much done and people can have fun and, you know, they can stay and hang out. But if you have a solid close time to your party, make sure that's indicated on your invitation when you send an invitation. Speaking of invitations, I did not mention this. An invitation can be as informal as a text message to as formal as an evite. It's totally up to you how you want to do this, but whatever you choose to do, you do want to start with an actual text message invitation, something that's like this. Hey, I'm throwing a launch party. I'm really nervous about it. I'm just hoping I get people to come. You know, don't even worry about ordering anything. Would you just be someone there to support me? I'd really, really appreciate it. That might be something you send to a certain subgroup of people, maybe your closer friends. And then other people, it's like, hey, I saw you were interested in the night cream. I'm actually throwing a party at my house, and you can come over and try it and see if you like it. So that's another type of message you can send. Your sponsor and your upline are gonna help you with that wording, so don't feel like you have to come up with it, but it needs to be an individual invitation. And then the key in all of this is in the follow-up. You can invite, and they'll say they're gonna come, but this is not what they're thinking about 24/7 like you are. So they're gonna forget about it. So it's up to you to remind them. And one great way to remind them is like the day before the party, you can say, hey, I'm actually going shopping right now to get some wine. Do you drink red or white? And you send them that message to remind them. And then they're like, oh, she's actually buying something for me. I better make sure I get there. The day of the party, your sponsor can help you with this. I usually make a flyer on my phone. It's just a graphic and the information and your address. The day of the party, send that to them and be like, oh, I'm so sorry I never sent you this information. Here's my address for the party. I'm so excited to see you later. Okay, so that's your follow-ups. When the party's over, you want to thank everybody for coming with a follow-up. If they've ordered, thank them for ordering. If they didn't, just be like, hey, I forgot to mention I'm running a promo. If you wanted to get your hands on any of those products, I'm offering buy two, get a face wash free or something to that effect. If people didn't come, you can write them a message and say, hey, we're so sorry we missed you. We had such a great time. I wanted to check in with you. Most people ended up ordering the night cream and the day cream combo or the eye serum. I was curious if you wanted me to put your order in. I'm placing their orders now, and that's your way to kind of follow up with those people who couldn't make it and otherwise invite them to the next party. And thank them. Just thank them. That's all you can really do. So that is it. It's really simple. We're here to help you and walk you through this. The biggest thing is you just need to get people there, and you're going to do that with those tips I just gave you. The last thing I want to leave you with is if you would like 10 people to show up at your party, you're going to want to invite about 30. I know that sounds extreme, but on average, 1/3 of the people that you invite will actually show up to your party. It's shocking, isn't it? And then of that third, you can expect 2 to 3 to cancel at the very last minute. So over invite. Worst case scenario, you end up with a really big party, and maybe what you do is break it into 2 different shifts, and you do a party from 6 to 7:30 and then another party from 7:30 to 9, and you get your 2 parties done in one night. How amazing would that be, right? So definitely make sure you are inviting, and I should have mentioned this when I was talking about invites. I wouldn't do a Facebook invite. They're ineffective. People don't see them. We're just inundated with information and announcements and alerts on Facebook that's probably the least effective way to invite people. So a personal phone call, picking up the phone, and a personal text. Okay, I can't reiterate that enough. It's one of the most important things about parties. So that is it. Happy partying to you all. I wish you an awesome event, and good luck to you all. Thanks. Bye.